How does being on YouTube impact your mental health? It's something I've been thinking a lot about. There are twice as many of you watching my videos now, and it's made me terrified to make new content. And I'm not the only one.
I'm constantly alone, always unhealthily stressed, and always feel this overwhelming pressure.
The validation that you get from a post, the lack of that validation can create like a hole that nothing else fills.
Why do I want to take a break? There's many reasons. First and foremost, my mental health. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I am mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually exhausted.
No matter what I'm doing, whether I'm on vacation with my family or I'm holding my baby daughter, I have this constant pressure, as most creators do, that is, what am I gonna upload today?
When's my workday end and where does me begin? Are these my colleagues or my friends? On a scale of 10 to 1, do you hate who I've become? Because I hate who I've become.
Maybe this is something that only impacts big channels with more than 1 million subscribers, and maybe this is something I'm sensitive to as someone who works in the mental health field. So I wanted to ask people who are in all stages of their YouTube journey, people who have smaller channels and medium-sized channels, to see what they thought about how being on YouTube can impact your mental health.
First of all, negative comments. No one likes those, right? They make me feel bad. Sometimes I work a little bit too hard and I go into burnout. Other times I work a little too little and I feel guilty and I feel ashamed. I get caught up in the numbers. Other times I just feel lonely. A lot of this work that I do, I'm doing it alone. Positive comments make me feel good. When I work the right amount, I feel a sense of pride. And a lot of times I do feel connected with a community of people that I love.
For most part of being on YouTube, it's really good because I know I'm helping a lot of people, but also I have to deal with mean comments and with trolls. And as much every YouTuber says that it doesn't affect me, it kind of does.
When I watch myself back on a video, I notice all of the things I don't like about myself, whether it be my voice, or I don't think I'm giving enough expression, or I might notice that my nostrils are like one's bigger than the other. There's just a way that you can hyper-focus on the things you don't like about yourself.
When my mood is already feeling down and I'm already getting a bit depressed, I'm already very self-critical of myself and I get obsessive thoughts about that. To then read comments that pick up on those things, so particularly because I'm a woman online, I get comments about my appearance, I get comments that undermine or question my experience and my knowledge, even though I've got a friggin' PhD. And if those things are the same things that I'm already obsessing about, it feels awful. It's validating the worst thoughts about yourself.
I think YouTube makes it way too easy to tie your sense of self-worth in with your video performance, which is great when you're doing well, but slumps are inevitable, and if you're measuring your value by your view count, that can lead to serious depression. The other issue, and this is probably true of many self-employed fields, is that it's hard to know when it's okay to stop working. It's hard to break out of that production mindset because there's no clear boundaries between work time and leisure time.
As far as the good, obviously the comments that are nice and praising your work, saying you're doing a good job, keep it up, but the bad being the comments that just really just tear you up, just, you know, whether it be a troll comment or just someone giving you really maybe even legitimate criticism, it can really wear you down.
I felt really weird about people who know me personally, like through my neighborhood or people I went to middle school with or high school with, seeing these videos. It felt like a strange mix of the personal and professional that I didn't quite feel comfortable with.
I think at first I would really pay attention to the views and the comments and exactly what people said, but then I realized that I was really negatively impacting the way I was seeing the internet and seeing my value and self online.
YouTube allowed me to explore what was going wrong with my mental health, taught me how to seek treatment, although that was largely through the communities I'd formed. Making the videos themselves, whilst time consuming and in some cases creatively exhausting, isn't to blame for any negative mental health as a result. It's more other people's responses. I know a lot of people are going to read that as people are mean about my videos and I don't like it. It's not that at all. It's mainly the sexist commentary that has a negative effect on my mental health.
I find it easy to get discouraged when I see the quality and output of more popular channels. Between my PhD, other various hobbies and interests, and self-care, how can I find the time to do the same? It feels like a sort of YouTube imposter syndrome.
It gives me a great platform to kind of get a couple of topics off my chest, topics that are applicable to me, topics that I've actually experienced, and being able to connect with like-minded people and spread some positive contacts.
The main issue, I would say, is the constant cost of consistency. This whole idea that I need to make one video per week to appease the YouTube algorithm.
I also spoke to two experts. Vanessa Hill runs a YouTube channel called Braincraft, where she explores psychology, the brain, and neurosciences, and she just did a series on the dark side of technology.
I've been a full-time YouTuber for 5 years now, and I've just experienced the highest highs and the lowest lows. I have had videos that have got millions of views, which is a great feeling. I've given lots of great talks. I've been on stage at these like really big conferences and at Parliament House in Australia and all this stuff. But I've also just spent like weeks at my desk like crying. You experience these phenomenal things that don't happen to you when you have a 9-to-5 job. Like you receive thousands of comments on one of your pieces of work from complete strangers. You might have a meeting with Netflix one week and then you don't hear anything from anyone for like 9 months and you think that you're irrelevant and you're worthless, or you get like a bad piece of publicity or something like that and it just ruins you. When I worked 9 to 5, I had different jobs. Like I worked in hospitality, and then I worked in the classroom, and then I worked in a corporate setting, and there were obviously highs and lows in that time, except I kind of feel like I was just on a train that whole time. And, you know, sometimes I was in the quiet car and it was nice, and sometimes I was in a loud space and whatever, but I was just on this train. And since I've been self-employed, living in a new country, trying to build this thing and work by myself, I've just been on a roller coaster, and it's been crazy.
I discovered your channel like early on, and I was so envious. I'm like, here I am with like 50 subscribers and like, you know, 5 videos. They got like less than 100 views, and you were killing it. I thought that was like taken away from me, and it meant that I was never going to get good at this, or I should give up.
It's so funny you say that, because at the same time I was looking up as well at all of these other channels that were doing what I saw as kind of similar things to me, like Vsauce and ASAP Science, great examples, where I was just pulling my hair out because I couldn't find their level of success with what I was doing. And I think that if you spoke to them at the time, ASAP Science would have been like, why can't we be like Minute Physics? And Vsauce would have been like, why can't I be like PewDiePie? And who knows what PewDiePie's concerns are? T-Series. I don't know. The success that we want to achieve is all that we see, and you don't see everything that you've done. Like you don't look back at your video catalog that you've created. Even if you had 100 views, like imagine 100 people coming through your clinic and what that would look like. I think there's something weird about YouTube where the site almost encourages direct comparison by the metrics that it displays. Like if you're going to the movies on the weekend, you're not seeing the thumbs up and the thumbs down and the view count and all of the comments on the film while you're watching it. We also don't tend to value what we bring to the table. Like this whole time you're looking at everything that I'm doing. Like I'm not a psychologist, right? Like I've studied psychology, but I don't have a Ph.D. I don't have any clinical experience, but that's a huge strength that you have where YouTube needs that. I just think that there is space for so many people because everybody's so unique. Something that happens on YouTube is that everybody kind of mimics what's popular, either consciously or unconsciously. I think it's mostly unconscious, to be honest. People just need to figure out how are they unique and what can they do that plays to their strengths.
And I spoke to Trace Dominguez. He's made over 1,000 videos for YouTube. He's done a daily show, and now he runs his own channel called Uno Dos of Trace.
The thing that I think impacted my mental health the most was I started to see myself kind of like fame chasing a little bit, and that was uncomfortable. Like, that was not a good feeling. And my girlfriend called me out, my fiance now. She said, I think you're fame chasing a little bit. Like, you're chasing that limelight. And I sort of had to stop and say, oh my God, I really am doing that. And I shouldn't be thinking about it as like a notoriety. I should try and stick to what made the channel good, and that's writing cool stories and trying neat things. And you know, I don't know if I succeeded to do that, but just being aware of it and having somebody who was comfortable enough to tell me that, like, I think this is something that you're doing and you should probably assess, really helped. Imposter syndrome, when you're jumping disciplines, is probably the thing I struggle with the most.
Yeah.
You know, not just imposter syndrome in, am I good at YouTube? Am I a good writer? Am I a good editor? You know, those things we can all share. But, like, do I really understand this weird physics concept or this weird engineering thing? But you have to also recognize that you're going to get things wrong. Like, it's just going to happen.
Right.
And there's always going to be someone who knows more than you do. The question is, can you learn from your mistake? In every video I put out, I fear making mistakes every single time. But at the same time, those mistakes become learning opportunities,
right,
if you're transparent about it.
Yeah.
So they become less scary because you kind of understand them a little more.
Watching these videos, listening to these experts, and reading these articles, it's very clear to me that yes, YouTube does impact the mental health of creators. The personal becomes professional. Many YouTubers create content at home, so your personal life bleeds in with your professional life. The hours get all mixed up, and there isn't a clear separation of this work versus your home life. When there isn't a clear separation of work and home, it's a little bit easier to develop burnout because all this stuff sort of mixes in together. And you're also expected to be a bit more personal on YouTube. You're expected to be more of yourself. This is something that Lindsay Ellis calls manufactured authenticity. And it can be difficult to keep up this appearance and this vibe when I'm not really feeling that way. More views can lead to more inhumanity. It's not the anonymity of the internet that can lead to difficult comments and inhumane comments. It's actually the lack of face-to-face eye contact. We're built for eye contact, and having eye contact in person, it's the empathy breaks that keep us from saying and doing horrible things to each other. We don't really have that online when we're doing text communication, like a comment section. When you are having a more successful video and the YouTube algorithm is recommending it to more people, well, that helps your channel to grow, but it's also what exposes your video to people who are outside of your community. And that's where I think so many of us are at risk of getting really tough comments and getting more troll type of comments. You will be dissected. Every detail about your face, about your voice, about your gestures, about how I apparently blink a lot. I get it. Bright lights, they make me blink a lot. I need to use more eye drops. I talked to my eye doctor about this because you all kept commenting about it. All of these details are dissected by a global community. It creates something called objective self-awareness. You become aware of yourself as a social object and how other people actually see you. That can be very difficult. Success is always one video away. I've made videos that have done extremely well. I've had videos that didn't do well and then months later started doing extremely well. And then I've had videos that I thought were just okay and weren't doing that well, and then someone saw it and it led to an amazing opportunity. This is something called variable reinforcement. It's the same principle behind gambling and what makes gambling so addictive. When you know every now and then you're gonna get a big payoff, you are way likely to keep doing that behavior. This is what makes so many creators so stuck on making content, keeping to a schedule, feeling so much stress and pressure if they're not keeping up with their schedule. It's what keeps so many of us addicted to making content, even if it's negatively impacting our mental health. At the same time, YouTube can have a profoundly positive impact on your mental health. You can gain connection to a global community around issues or interests that you have that would be much more difficult to develop in real life. There's a focus on growth on YouTube, of getting better, of improving, and I genuinely believe YouTube analytics are one way in which you can grow faster as a creator. Videos that you create can lead to new opportunities that can propel your career forward. YouTube can help you create a meaningful impact on the world. On YouTube, there's really no limit to how many people I can reach. I love this platform and I still believe in YouTube. And I also believe that YouTube has done a lot to make this platform a better place. But there are real mental health challenges to being a creator on YouTube. So how can we cope with them?
The biggest thing that helps me is to have a growth mindset. And what I mean by that is this, is I really love the encouragement and validation I get from the audience members that engage with my content. But every now and then you're going to get people that have criticism, whether it be valid or invalid, but you have to be able to take the good with the bad. And at the end of the day, I recognize I'm not perfect, and any constructive criticism that will make me better at what I put out on YouTube and it will help my audience engage more with my content, that's a blessing.
I used to switch on various filters and extensions that means that I physically couldn't see the comments. I am very liberal with the block button, not as liberal as I should be, perhaps. And I used to just take a step back from YouTube, but that was when it was only a part-time job, and now it's a full-time job. I don't have the luxury of just stepping away from my job, my career. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that one.
Take my mind off of YouTube and rest and remind myself of why I'm doing this in the first place. That always gets me a little recharged to start again and keeps my mental health in a good place.
One thing I've been trying to do is limiting my access to analytics. YouTube gives you so many numbers that it feels like they have to mean something, but the system is so full of randomness and noise, and there's so many factors beyond your control that obsessing over the data is ultimately kinda pointless. So recently I installed a Chrome extension called StyleBot that lets me block view counts across the platform. I can check them if I want, but I have to do it intentionally. I'm still trying to work out the right balance, but at least now I'm in control.
I basically cope by not creating any content and doing something else, but in real life, like watching Netflix, reading a book, hanging out with my friends, until I feel good to start making content again.
I suppose I cope with the mental health challenges of being on YouTube by connecting with my audience and by ensuring that I'm doing other things as well. I'm really busy with a number of different things with GetSite and with other things, with my studies and work. So I make sure to spread my focus.
I focus on the things I make and how I like them and how they make me happy, and try not to focus too hard on the fact that being female presenting on YouTube will always attract sexist comments.
I try not to look at the comments too much. I think that's something that really helps me out a lot, because even if I see positive comments on there sometimes, it's those negative comments that kind of follow you around and stick close by your side, whether you want them to be there or not.
I decided that the videos were worth the anxiety they caused, and so I put out my first video. I was very, very anxious about it. I felt very weird about it, but the more videos I've put out, the better I've felt, and I've ultimately come to the conclusion that the benefits of the videos for me professionally far outweigh whatever the drawbacks may be for me personally.
To adapt a quote from Kurt Vonnegut, make videos to please just one person. If you open a window and make love to the world, so to speak, your channel will get pneumonia. For my videos, that person is me. If a video is stressing me out, it's not achieving its purpose.
What I needed to do was take a mental reset and realize that this was just a hobby and something I'm doing for fun. It's not a career. The best way I find to cope with people who are critiquing or hating on the things that I'm saying or my ideals is I often compare, like, who is this person? Who is saying this? And oftentimes it's like a masked figure who has a fake username and a cartoon, icon associated with them. And you know what? Those people are not real, and frankly, I see them as cowards. If you're going to go online and critique somebody's morals in person, you should be willing to put yourself out there as well. So when I see those cowards attacking me, I just brush it off, because they're not important.
I found a community of people who make educational videos for YouTube. And it's just really helpful to have people that I can talk to who are in the same position as me and dealing with the same stresses as I am. And that's really the main thing that has helped.
Remember the why. Why are you on this platform? What is it that you want to share with others? What values of yours are you bringing to YouTube? Connecting with other creators and talking about my struggles, their struggles, how they cope, learning from each other, just getting support and feeling less alone, that's been a game changer for my mental health. Look for impact, not views. Don't judge your value as a creator by how many views you have, but judge it by the impact you're making on the lives of other people.
I have made this little, I call it an awesome board, but it's where I have printed out photos of myself giving talks, good comments, like all the positivity and great opportunities that have come into my life from YouTube. And I have just put them on this little pin board.
Remind yourself of the good things that have come out of your YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Remind yourself of your favorite stories. Remind yourself of, if you read the comments, the good comments, literally write them down, print them out.
Focus on your personal growth, not your channel growth. There's always going to be someone who has more views, more subscribers, and is growing faster on YouTube. But if you focus on your own personal growth, on how you have improved and what you can do to improve, that's going to go a long way to feeling less helpless on this platform and feeling more empowered. Automate comment moderation. There's a feature in YouTube that I think is very underutilized, and that is creating a list of blocked words. And when those words are mentioned in your comment section, those comments automatically get flagged and don't show up on the video. Use that feature liberally. I have a very long list of words in my block words section, and anytime I get a very hateful comment or there's something that's really hard for me to hold, I add it to my blocked word list.
Read the comments, don't read the comments. Don't let anybody else's opinion on those comments, or whether you should read them or whether you should engage with them. Don't let those people get you down. It's up to you.
Prioritize yourself over your channel. There's no you in YouTube if you feel like crap.
Know your limit. Know when you should step away for a while, and whether that's when you're working a lot and you're working really, really hard and then you realize you haven't moved in 8 hours, go for a walk or something.
Yeah. If you're struggling, if you don't feel well, if you're sick, let your community know and don't make a video that week. Take care of yourself. There are a bunch of things I want YouTube to do to make this platform more mentally healthy. And it starts with continuing their trend of making analytics more personal. One of the things I really like about the new Creator Studio is it helps you to evaluate how your videos are doing against your own past videos. Not against others, but just against the stuff you've already made. And that really helps me to focus on what I can do, what options are available to me, and see how I'm growing and how I'm performing against the stuff I've already done. We need way more ways of managing the comments section. I would love to be able to pause comments, to be able to publish a video, spend a day or two really diving into the comments section, moderating, filtering, deleting, upvoting, loving, responding to comments, and then when the discussion is sort of done, to just pause the comments so that I can focus on creating something new and I don't have to keep going back and filtering and commenting and responding to past videos. I also want YouTube to create AI that can pick up on trolling and hateful comments. Give creators a way of flagging comments that are more trolly, and then take that flagging and use it as machine learning to pick up on possible trolling comments in the future. YouTube can also have better onboarding for creators at different stages of their journey, giving us videos that pop up in the Creator Studio when we're just getting started to get used to some of the things that might come up for us, as new YouTube creators. And then if someone's video goes viral and experiences rapid growth, it'd be great to have a video pop up about how to handle all the new attention you're about to receive or you're receiving right now. As people level up to 10,000 subscribers, 100,000, 500,000, a million, having new resources that pop up that help you to deal with some of the mental health challenges at each of these stages of your journey. YouTube should be creating live hangouts. Live hangouts, is that still a YouTube feature? I think it is, but creating live hangouts where they're inviting different users to come together to talk about mental health issues. That will go a long way to help creators that work alone in environments where they might not have the opportunity to talk to another YouTube creator. If you're a viewer, there's one really important thing you can do to help the mental health of creators that you support. Whenever you like a video, just comment and say, thanks. This was great. I really enjoyed this. All of this comes down to focusing on the impact that we want to have, not the numbers or the algorithm or the hateful comments, but focusing on the entertainment we want to bring someone, the joy we want to add to their life, showing someone how to do something that they couldn't do before, standing up for an issue that you believe in, helping someone to feel left alone. These are the things that we have to focus on. In other words, just follow Casey's advice.
It is quality that leads to longevity. It's making meaningful work that yields a career that will last. Not chasing clout, not chasing relevancy today, but instead making work that an audience, that viewers, that people can believe in and get behind. That is how you build a long, meaningful career. And I do think that that is something that's tremendously undervalued on YouTube.
A big thank you to everyone who helped me make this video. You can find links to everyone's channel in the description below. If you want to learn more about why is online discussion so difficult, check out this video here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to learn more about psychology and mental health. And if you want to help me make more content, consider becoming a Patreon. Consider becoming a patron at Patreon. I really appreciate you making the time and space and and sharing some of your experience here.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
You know, it's always nice to get out there.
Yeah.
You know, live long and prosper and stuff.
Oh my god! It was a mind meld! We did have to say that.